Halstrom, and this is my dear friend Heather Clifford, Keep It Simple Social Media. And Heather, let's just do a quick sound check and all everybody as we're getting up for today's little session. Looks good. You can hear me okay and everything looking good?
You look great. You sound fantastic.
All right. So Heather, boy, oh boy, you and I talked a few months ago, and you know, we were still sort of in this beginning of I suppose where we're at right now. And you know, both of us in our respective businesses, educators, primarily in the real estate sector, but also in other areas. I mean, it's just we've seen so much change, and we wanted to sort of get out there to both of our audiences today, and possibly a bit of reassurance, but also from both of our positions. I'm interested in your take, but we've talked a bit about it privately. It appears this whatever we're doing right now, the Zoom, the online, is here to stay for perhaps longer than everybody thought. What's your take on that? What are you seeing from your business and your very large audience?
Well, I can tell you that prior to 2020, the real estate industry as a whole was very slow at taking on technology, whether it was social media or whether it was learning to use their camera. So we have always been very slow adapters to technology. And then along comes 2020, and I can tell you the change in this industry has been dramatic. And that goes way beyond doing Facebook Lives. It goes beyond doing Zoom. We're talking about artificial intelligence today. We're talking about drones that are being used in just about every single listing now, virtual staging. There has been such an amount of learning in this industry in just 6 months that I'm very proud of the real estate industry for embracing it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Of course, entrepreneurs, masters of their own destiny. And when the cheese moves and it's no longer in your fridge and it's in the cupboard, you tend to be able to get to the cupboard pretty fast. You know, using that analogy. But so, you know, we wanted to talk about sort of 5 key things today, and let's get right to the knitting. Use of Zoom. You know, we've got a very large real estate audience. We've seen many of them, of course, being educated on Zoom. Some of them are adapting to Zoom, and some of them, I think, are still stuck in the mud. What is your observations with those using Zoom, and how are they using it successfully? And what's your take on this?
I'm laughing when listening to you because, you know, I have seen Zoom videos of real estate listings go viral that literally had terrible internet connection, and the realtor, bless her soul, just kept going and finished that Zoom live video of the property, and that video went viral. And I just say, you know, I'm watching people that are not putting up stop signs or hurdles in front of themselves. They're embracing it, and they're determined. I have seen a very good friend of mine in Toronto, Richard, who did 70 Zoom interviews with other real estate professionals around the world, talking to them in 15-20 minutes about what is happening COVID real estate in their area. And it was really interesting for me to listen to every single one of those interviews to see what is happening around the world. So there is someone that was creating an educational component that would not only benefit other realtors to know, but it's also extremely interesting in these trying times. So there's an example of a realtor that used Zoom to do the open house tour. There is a realtor that used Zoom to interview 70 other realtors around the world. And then I have a client, Debbie Simmons, with eXp Realty here on Vancouver Island. And Debbie, every Monday, does a market update, recording her screen using Zoom, and takes us onto the matrix system and walks us through the new listings, the sales, the expiries for the week. Now, those are 3 completely different ways of utilizing Zoom, besides how you and I are doing it right now is an interview. But then there's also the sharing of contracts, of doing market evaluations, of talking about the contract of purchase and sale, helping people feel more comfortable with the way that we're dealing with business today.
And so really what I heard was what you were saying, get out of the way, get out of your own way, get out of your head. I mean, I almost think that if you can't do business on Zoom right now, you're not going to qualify for some people's business or any business. I mean, I'm kind of thinking about it. I mean, my business, like yours, I haven't seen anybody for 6 months except my wife and a few friends. I feel like I've been locked up in jail. But if I can't do business on Zoom and I can't facilitate a transaction and do all these things, I'm wondering whether people are going to say to realtors who are not in this space, well, you know what, we'll wait for you. We'll get on with our business and we'll wait for you to be better at a later date, because it's just, I think it's a prerequisite for success right now, and any level of business.
Gerry, I think that if a real estate agent can use DocuSign and AuthentiSign, they can figure out Zoom. It's pretty
Yeah.
simple. And Gerry, this morning I came up with this idea that I think would be phenomenal for your project in West Vancouver. I
Yeah.
have a vacant lot for sale here on the ocean front, and I'm going to hire a virtual staging company to do a virtual home utilizing the drone shots that I have,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
create a house on that lot without any building plans, but just to help the buyer visualize living here on the ocean.
And you know what? That's the new realm. And I know in the project marketing courses I'm teaching, and again, my own work in the project marketing field, I mean, we are now embracing the fact that we don't need the buyer to go anywhere. And especially in many places like a custom built home, like what you're doing, or condominium developments like I do, there's really, what are they going to do? Come into an office and they're going to look at a television screen? I mean, they can do it here. So Zoom, I think both of you and I are saying, get over it. Go and get some lessons, get some training. I know you guys have got some stuff this fall into that area. What kind of stuff have you got for helping realtors in the Zoom area?
Well, we don't actually teach Zoom, but we teach a virtual real estate course, which encompasses the
Okay.
Zoom component.
Yeah.
And in the very beginning of COVID-19, we created webinars or videos on walkthrough on setting up Zoom. How do you use Zoom? How do you share screen with Zoom? How do you
Hmm.
do Facebook Live with Zoom? So we created probably 20 videos back in March and April that live on our YouTube channel to help our real estate community out.
That's perfectly. So people are looking for some data. They can get to your Keep It Simple social media and find that data.
Yeah, the more important aspects that are happening right now are realtors that are nervous about the Facebook Live. So, you know, everyone is nervous about Facebook Live because it's live and it just sounds so scary. But that's why we need to practice. And as soon as you do one practice, you can delete that live and you can say, okay, before I delete it, I should check the lighting. I should check the sound. I should check my internet connection. And once you start doing those things and repeating, it's called practicing, time on task. You
Hmm.
will get better. And quite honestly, it's not always going to work because things go wrong. That's just technology. It's the nature of the beast, and you can't let it make you sweat or cause you anxiety. You just have to say, okay, what can I learn from this and how can I maybe do it better next time?
Yeah, yeah. Learning strategies. I know I've got a course that we're launching actually next week into the education sector, where we're looking actually at teaching teachers how to get online with Zoom, which is something I've ended up doing in our world. And so lots of good stuff coming. So watch out for both of our feeds. Now, social media strategies. This is where you really are downtown. I mean, everybody who's heard me before say, I mean, Heather and Catherine, they're the leaders in real estate technology when it comes to promotions on social media, Facebook and others. So what are you seeing right now that is working on social media and some of these strategies that you guys are talking about in your groups?
Well, I'm seeing you have to get creative. You have to
Hmm.
be outside of the box. So I'm running a contest right now where it's who do you know? And I'm giving away $100 gift card to the local farm, which the Clever Crow. And all you have to do is tell me, who do you think should be living next door to me in this vacant lot and build a house. And
Mm.
then I have my client, Debbie, who has her, she's the president of the Business Association in Chemainus. And once a week on Tuesday, she runs, say hello to this business and you'll be entered to win a $50 gift card. And her Facebook page naturally, organically, is getting really well known for her contest every single Tuesday. Yes,
Okay, so what you're doing is you're taking another individual in the business community, you're linking up with a free something or other, and they're pushing and you're pushing, and it's just doing that. Is it that simple?
it's that simple. It costs you a little bit of money out of your pocket. And here's the other thing, Gerry. If you are creating Facebook content, and I'm looking at it all the time, I'm looking at these gurus.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was watching this guy that teaches funnels and is this big real estate teacher. And I'm looking at the realtors he's using as examples, his stars. One of them, of
Hmm.
course, is my client, so I'm very happy about it. But his other
Mm.
stars, I went to their Facebook content and their Instagram stuff, and it's completely dead.
Mm.
So they're obviously not spending a nickel. And in fact, if you want to get in front of the right eyeballs today, you can't count on your friends and family to do it for you, which they're only going to get maybe 2% of your
Yeah.
people that follow you. You have to spend money. You have to spend money. I have received in a 2-week period, spending $26, over 250 clicks to my website to look
Yeah.
at this lot that is for sale, because I have a campaign, a budget, and you follow through.
Yeah, I'm going to pause you on that one because I find so many people know this, and then so many people actually don't know this. If you do not give Facebook and Instagram some money, you might as well not even do it. You've got to have a budget. On our Dundere project, we're spending about $250 per session, and we're getting thousands and thousands of images and people, whatever the jargon, forgive my yeah, the jargon I lose because I got people that do
Yeah.
this for us. But basically, yeah, no budget, nothing. You got to have the budget, and it's not, you don't need 250, probably $15 to $25 per session, per program is gonna push it out for you.
Absolutely. And here's the other thing that people are missing a little bit of the boat on is YouTube. YouTube,
Yeah.
first of all, Google is the #1 searched website in the world. If
Mm.
anyone needs help or they're looking for something, they're Googling it. The second most searched website in the world is YouTube because it's owned by Google, and then it's Facebook.
Yeah.
So you have YouTube, which evergreen content. You can search it for years to come, but
Hmm.
YouTube will pay you. So now you can monetize your business as a real estate agent in time, and it lives on forever. Your branding, your marketing, and you
Hmm.
really just have to learn how to do a few things to
Yeah.
start building your reputation on YouTube.
And I think that, it's something that you said earlier, get out of the way of yourself. Just start.
Yeah, that's it.
Get out of thinking that I need to be better, it's taller, younger, faster, and just start it. Uh,
Here.
just get going. Yeah. I mean, what are you waiting for? So creating Facebook Lives, that was one of the things that we wanted to chat about today. Tell me about your strategies in that area. This is something that's new.
I have a lot of different scenarios when it comes to Facebook Lives. And for most real estate agents, they wouldn't understand that if you were going live from your desktop computer in the live producer, which is what it's called today, you cannot then go and share your screen. So if you wanted to do a market update, but you wanted to use statistics that you have, you actually could not be on the screen first and then share your screen, which is where
Okay.
Zoom comes in beautifully, because you can
Right.
do that and you can be live. So you also, if you're using your smartphone to go live on Facebook, you have to remember when you're holding it this way, it's a very narrow view of the
Hmm.
property.
Yeah.
And Facebook is horizontal. And I know a young lady that I love her to death, and she's just done probably 100 live videos. And people are asking her during her videos to turn her
To
phone this way so they can
turn
have a
your
wide
phone.
angle
Yeah.
view.
Yeah.
But you can't turn it once you start your live video. So there are some
Okay.
basic things that you need to
Yeah.
learn. It's as simple as if you were shooting a video without going live and you wanted to reverse the screen during your video,
Yeah.
like you're talking about the outside of the house and you're talking about the neighborhood. And now I'm going to show you inside the property, and you try to turn the video camera around. You can't do it.
Doesn't
So
work.
it becomes frustrating for people. They think they're doing something wrong. And I think, you really just have to take a basic little course, have
Mhm.
your notes, your follow-up, and then follow those procedures and go over and over. So this morning, Gerry, I wanted to shoot my live video with you outside. So I went onto my private Facebook group and I went live outside because I wanted to test the sound. I wanted to test the
Mhm.
lighting, and I
Yeah.
wanted to see how the bandwidth was, which is another hugely important component
Huge.
to going live. And what I found was everything was great, but because your camera on your desktop computer and on your smartphone is always trying to stabilize the light, it will go light, dark, because it was overcast. So
Mm.
I said, okay, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to do this live
Yeah.
video with Gerry inside, and put on my
Mhm.
ring light and sit in front of the window so I've got light coming in,
Yeah.
use my AirPods so we've got good sound, and of course, kicked all the teenagers outside so I
In
could
the storm. In a
so
storm.
I could have the internet to myself.
Yeah.
But these are the
Yeah.
things that we have to do. You have to practice before you do it. And I see agents going live using their hand and not a tripod.
Mhm.
So you can't get the camera out far enough. And then your arm's going to get tired. And you only learn by doing. You only learn by
Yeah.
doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and anything performance. I mean, I go back to those of us who I don't know if you did any drama classes in high school. Some of us did. I know I did. And they always say, well, let's go through the basics, because unless you have the basics down, everything else breaks down the road. Doesn't matter how good an actor or singer you are, if your back is to the audience and you're blocking, the way you're moving is wrong. It just doesn't matter. Key fundamentals right now. Key fundamentals.
Um, well, on that note, the other key fundamental I saw and I loved was I saw one one real estate agent who had the other real estate agent with the camera, and they were doing the walkthrough. I love it. But what happens is they get too far away from the person holding the camera, and now you can't hear them anymore.
Can't hear
So
'em.
that was another mistake. So fundamentals. Okay, well, you really need to know what you're doing. And the only way to understand is to either Google it and watch some YouTube videos and
Yeah.
then practice. You don't need equipment. You don't need fancy cameras. We have these very expensive phones today that have incredible cameras on them.
Mhm.
Know that you have a front lens and you have a back lens. Know to clean your lenses before you start your videos. I always
Yeah.
clean my computer lens as well. And
Mhm.
you can stabilize the lighting on a smartphone by holding your finger in the middle of the phone, and it will lock the frame. That will stabilize the lighting that I was talking about, the
Okay.
light and dark
Yeah.
issues.
Yeah.
You want to know what your settings are on your phone. You want to make sure
Mhm.
you have good internet connection. Now, here's a fundamental mistake that I see is agents will get the internet connection for inside the house, but then they'll start the video outside the house where
Yeah.
it's not as stable. So you always
Right.
have to practice these things before you do it. So you want to check your lighting. You want to check your sound. Sometimes, and in most cases, when you purchased your smartphone, you got these earphones that came with it. They're fantastic and easy to use. If you don't have AirPods to get started, it doesn't matter. I'll tell you a little trick. You can go into Kia dealership and buy some AirPods for $16, and they work fantastically.
At
So it's
Kia.
always at
Hmm.
Kia Motors.
Oh, IKEA. IKEA. Oh, that's one of my
No,
favorite
not
stores.
IKEA. Kia Motors. vehicle
Like the
for
cars. Okay,
homes.
that's what I thought you said in the first place. Like,
Yeah.
don't buy a car. Buy a car if you want, but buy a pair of $16 buds. So if I
Yeah.
wanted to stand out today, and I'm looking at this new world, and we're really encouraging people to sort of hit the reset button and think about resetting their careers. This is a new world, and I think that all of us have to say what we did before. Some of it may carry forward, but much of what we did, we need to look at and really make some analysis as to whether it's going to work in this new world. But if I wanted to stand out between now and, let's say, the end of the year, with my social media, what tips, what would be your choice, Gerry? The got tos. You've got to do this to stand out between now and the end of the year.
I think you need to have a plan. And we used to call it at Royal LePage, when I was with Royal LePage 30 years ago, they used to call it Head Start.
Mm-hmm.
So Head Start was always in October because you'd finish off your last quarter, those 90 days
Mm-hmm.
with momentum, which would bring you into the 2021 year
Mm-hmm.
with a bang. So you need to have a strategy and you need to have a plan. You need to sit down and say, what's most important? How many listings do I have? Do I need to get listings? Like, what are your goals? And then create, educational videos are always really good. Video is the key for any type of content today. If you
Mm-hmm.
don't have a listing, you might have someone in your office that wouldn't mind if you did a virtual open house because they're
Yeah.
not willing to or not wanting to. You need content. You have to have content to survive.
Yeah.
People are struggling with what should I post. Look at
And
what
I'm gonna
doing.
pause you right there, because if anything, you said something that resonated with me, and I could say to our audience, like, pay attention. You've got one of Canada's leaders in the sector saying this. You need content. Period. There's so many ways we can get content. We could go on for another 3 hours about getting the content. But if you don't have the content, what are you going to say? Hey, it's me again. I'm standing in front of my back door. I mean, I don't know. You're going to have the content. We've been getting our students to do investment seminars, first-time buyer seminars on Zoom and Eventbrite. It's working like a charm. And then they get on the social media. Then they get the Google, because Eventbrite Google's right. And you don't have to look like a superstar. You just have to be yourself. And I know you talk about that. Just getting out of your own face's way.
Who is in your toolbox is someone that you are going to recommend. So who is your home inspector? Can you show up at a
Mm-hmm.
home inspection with them and just ask them a couple of questions? There's a little piece of content. Who's your mortgage broker? Who's your lawyer? Who's your notary? Who's who in the zoo in your business? And there you've got a
Mm-hmm.
ton of content right there. And
Yeah.
then you've got video as well. But Gerry, you can create all the content in the world. If you're not spending money and targeting the right audience, you're
Mm-hmm.
still dead in the water.
And that's a brilliant moment. So if you're not spending money and you're not targeting it, according to Canada's leading expert in this area, Heather Clifford, you are still dead in the water. There's some honest, straight ahead, good old fashioned, chit chat talk. And do you see realtors who are not, and just not realtors, but people who are not compliant in this new world, do you think they're going to just fade away, or do you think they're going to still be able to hang on?
Um, I've never liked it when I heard different conventions and whatnot years ago that if you're not doing this in 5 years, you're going to be out of the business. Well, they're
Mm-hmm.
not out of the business. They're still in the business. And they're struggling because they feel lost without technology, but it's not something
Mm-hmm.
they're ever going to embrace. I think they will slowly disappear. Or what I would really suggest is that they lock arms with someone that is a little more forward
Collaboration.
thinking. And
Yeah.
yes, exactly. But there's always people out there that are not on the internet, that are not using smartphones. And it's a small group of people, but there are
Yeah.
those people out there. And I think then it comes down to your sphere of influence. Then it comes down to your personal profile on Facebook. How many friends do you have? And does
Yep.
everyone know what kind of business you're in? And, would they give their business to you because they believe in you, that you would do a good job for them? So there's a lot of components together. we're not doing the networking that we did with the chambers of commerce and things of that nature,
No, no,
because of COVID-19. Not even going to your church, really. So
no,
they've
no.
really, and then there are real estate agents that are thriving right now that are really doing an incredible job. But
Hmm.
I have to be honest, I see a lot of that on here.
Hmm.
I'm watching it on their social media. That's how I know they're killing it
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, and to wrap things up, and I think that last soundbite was perfect. But I will echo that with some of my friends and clients. And the big word that I've had this month is that a number of my top agents and corporate clients they use the word doubling down. We're doubling down now. We're doubling our advertising because the markets are coming back. And many businesses, not just real estate, have orphaned their clients by not being active during COVID, which means, my philosophy is, and what I'm trying to teach our groups is that we're seeing more orphaned clients, more available clients. In the past may have said, oh, well, I do business with Gerry. But you know what, Gerry, I haven't talked to them for now, maybe a year and a half. And these clients are really open for new opportunities in some of our experience. And so some of the bigs are doubling down with those expenses, and what they're finding is what you've just been saying is they're being rewarded heavily rewarded by new clients coming in. So it's a wonderful time for new client acquisitions. And how do people get a hold of you? Do you want to talk about your websites and stuff like that today? How do people get a hold of you for your upcoming fall seminar curriculum?
Well, we have a lot of stuff going on, Catherine and I. We're doing our webinars. We've created a new webinar called Head Start for your social
Good for
media.
you.
We're just in the minutes of refining it. And what is this? It's to teach you how to do what are going to be your 3 to 4 posts you're going to do
Hmm.
each week. Which 2 ads are you going to do? How do you do those ads, and how do you add video in? So we're just putting that together right now. Catherine's just finishing off a little bit of her summer vacation with the kids and
Good
whatnot.
for you.
So we're still found online. We even dabbled all through the summer doing webinars. Yeah, so we're doing our private one-on-one coaching. We're doing our client management as well as our webinars at Keep It Simple Social Media.
Great. Great. Well, my friends, Heather Clifford, one of Canada's best. This is not a time to be shy. And I would encourage you to double down in the area of your social media and online presence, because if you're not doubling down, someone else is, and someone's going to take your clients. So get educated. Don't wait for this to change. I'm going to give you a little Uncle Gerry talk right now. If you're watching this, is that, yeah, this is a time not to be stuck in the mud. It's time to change. It's time to adapt some new strategies. Because one of the things you're hearing from both Heather and I, who teach between us well over 1,000 students every month, is that the realtors and the entrepreneurs in business who are embracing this moment and doing the right things are all saying the same thing. We're rocking it. So don't wait. Get going now. So look out for Heather Clifford and Catherine Aird and Keep It Simple social media. Heather, thank you for being on today. And you had some great content. So everybody, that's Gerry and Heather on a Thursday
Super.
afternoon.
Thanks, Gerry.
Bye for now.